small little information revolving around your product.
We started, writing these blogs about specific problems that people are searching for.
Just creating content like this on a regular basis at a really good length will, over time, allow you to get more exposure on search engines. Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. The subscription market is predicted to grow to nearly $500 billion by 2025. As a fast-growing area in commerce, subscriptions hold tremendous opportunity to build a community of customers who share your values. Recharge is the leading subscription management solution helping e-commerce merchants of all sizes launch and scale subscription offerings. Recharge powers the growth for over 15,000 subscription merchants and their communities, turning one-time transactions into long-term customer relationships. Whether you're a direct-to-consumer business or an omni-channel brand, subscriptions strengthen your brand's relationship with your customers and makes it easy for consumers to make repeat purchases. With subscriptions, merchants are able to experience predictable revenue, increased customer loyalty, and higher average order values. Turn transactions into relationships and experience seamless subscription commerce with Recharge. Get started today with the subscriptions payment solution trusted by over 50 million subscribers worldwide by heading over to rechargepayments.com/uncensored.
You're listening to E-Commerce Uncensored with Kevin Manel and Jason Caruso.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso on take two. Manel.
take number two.
Take number two.
I interrupted you when I shouldn't have before.
Exactly.
You were deep in thought, so we're trying to start a fresh episode here.
Right.
But before we get started, guys, text the word email to 844-643-0745 if you're looking for help to grow your revenue from email.
Yeah, but Kev, we need serious inquiries. We've had like several people reach out and then kind of ghost us, so to speak. Like we follow up and we don't hear from them. So we would appreciate it if you guys are serious about, this service. Because I don't want to have to hire people, Kev, to like do these calls. Like I like talking to the people that are scheduling these calls, but if this is going to be like a cat and mouse game, I think I would just prefer hiring someone so that we're not doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually. Like I really do enjoy getting on the phone with, store owners and learning more about what they do and how we can help them. But like when it comes down to it, like this is a serious commitment that we want to help people. So like you said, serious inquiries only. Text the word email to 844-643-0745. You'll get an email back. You'll get a text message back from us so that we can learn a little bit more about you, about your business, and how we can help, how we fit in.
Yep, that's it. And Kev, before we get into our episode today, we have some exciting things going on. One of which is I'm writing a book. Right?
That is exciting. That's absolutely exciting. Never would have thought.
Never would have thought, because I'm not like a reader. I listen to books. I listen to a lot of books, but I don't generally read. I should take that back. I read while I'm listening, but I don't
do both.
Yeah, I just don't take a book and go under a tree and read. It's just not like my thing. But I'm writing a book not about e-commerce, but about selling courses. And it's really exciting. I'm finding out a lot about myself in this process. Like in terms of like I'm terrible at typing this book, but I'm really good at like talking the book.
Yeah, because
Like,
I've seen you type an email before, and it can go on for a while.
yeah.
Going back, rethinking things. So
Right.
it's cool to see you working through all these pages.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I have like thousands and thousands of words already. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I don't know why I wanted to, but I did.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Yes. But anyway, so today's episode, Kev, we're going to talk about something that I don't think we talk a lot about, but it pays dividends if you commit to it. I don't want to just say like it's a magic bullet, so to speak, but what we're about to talk about today has been partly responsible for some crazy growth of our clients. And that is a blog, because e-commerce people like us tend to focus most of their energy on the physical product, right? Like that's like as a e-commerce brand or a company, right? Like you're selling physical products for the most part. And I don't think a lot of people think that a blog could be an asset to an e-commerce business, but the truth is like we're actually talking to somebody who texted us through email, and who now we are working with, and we're actually talking to her about doing some blog posts. Don't know if she's going to go forward with it, but the point is like this is something that we see work really well if done properly, but it's definitely a commitment. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of open it up with that. So why don't we, Kev, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this works? What exactly you and the team do to make this happen, and what are you seeing from this?
Well, I think because we come on here a lot and we talk about email frequency. And when you have a store, and like you said, and you're focused on your product, you're focused on your offers, and you don't want to flood your email list with just offers and information about your products, because that's going to create like this, customer business relationship that kind of is more short term for me, I think, as opposed to a long-term relationship with your email list or your customer base. And sometimes it can be hard to like, okay, what am I supposed to send to people if I can't send them about my product, or if I'm not, I don't want to send them about my products and my offers all the time. What else can I send them? And I think that's really where a blog can be most effective, is when you can produce content on a regular basis revolving around your product. Obviously, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, but small little information revolving around your product can do a number of things. And for one, you mentioned SEO, which is obviously not a short, you're not going to post a blog and then start having SEO traffic immediately. It's more of that long-term approach. And eventually you'll start listing organically and things like that. So that's more of the long-term approach of a blog, but really short-term, it just gives you an opportunity to send your list entertaining things, information about, that niche.
Right. So let's back up a little bit. So as a sending emails through as an e-commerce brand, right, we have a tendency to send emails that are heavily product focused. And what you're saying is like we find over time that too much of that starts making people ignore your emails, so to speak, right? And they start looking at the email like, oh, here's another offer. But if you can blend a blog post strategy into your overall email strategy, it allows you to not only send more emails, which you can because it's value, But also those blog posts later on will start ranking in Google, which will give you free exposure over time.
Right.
And I think when we started doing this with one of our bigger clients, and at first we were doing it and it was like, okay, people are coming to the website through these blog posts. We're sending emails to these blog posts, but they really weren't sticking. I mean, this is like 3 years ago. They weren't really sticking. They were just kind of like, all right, And then we learned how to use those blogs to actually channel the reader back to the product. And I think that's where things really started taking off from the blog perspective, is that we started, writing these blogs about specific problems that people are searching for. So what we would do is we would send out emails that would basically tell us if this blog was hot or not.
Right.
And sort of play off of the ones that were really working well.
Yeah, and think about what that does. If you can create an email to a blog post, you're kind of engaging them on a different level, more like you're just providing value to them. But like once you get them to your website, think about all the things it does. Like, they can just, because I do it all the time. You go over to a website and then you notice, you have a sidebar, you have all these other things that are going on a website with the navigation. You start getting them shopping. You get, you can introduce within the blog, you introduce, engaging with them on social or anything like that. And what it does is it just kind of puts them in your funnel. It's just, if you're doing Facebook ads, you're doing Google ads, you're doing retargeting, the pixel picks up on them, then they go over to their social media, they see you again. And that's when maybe you bring in some of your product information while they're on the blog. Towards the end, you can introduce your products, how, you have this valuable piece of information. And guess what? We have the product that helps you with this. The information.
So like your product is it's introducing a problem, and then the product is solving that problem in the blog post, basically what it is.
Right.
Right.
And you kind of take a subtle approach in that. Like you write this content and be like, oh, hey, we have this other thing, or maybe it's just like, featured products at the bottom. You're not even like directly selling to them. They just happen to see like a picture of your product toward the bottom or a video. It's just like it's a good way to engage your audience and get them back into your funnel. For instance, if half your list hasn't opened an email in a while, there's obviously a reason for that. They're tired of getting your offers. They're tired of, seeing just products all the time. To re-engage them and give them some valuable piece of content, send them back to your site, get them re-engaged, and then you can start, with the offers again after that.
Yeah, and it's a really good way to get some people who aren't opening your emails to start opening them, right? Because instead of saying, something like 50% off or whatever, if they're not ready to buy the product, they're not going to buy it, right? So like this is like
you train your list that you're just sending out offers in your product all the time. So they're just going to ignore them if they don't unsubscribe.
Right. But if like the subject line says something like how to fix a bike in 3 minutes, that
Right.
obviously changes, right? And like, so if like you own a bike company and you sell an air pump, like a tire pump, you may say something like how to fix a tire in 3 seconds or less. Write a blog about it. And then in that blog, you can use your product as the answer to the blog itself. And that's one way to do it.
Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. The subscription market is predicted to grow to nearly $500 billion by 2025. As a fast-growing area in commerce, subscriptions hold tremendous opportunity to build a community of customers who share your values. Recharge is the leading subscription management solution helping e-commerce merchants of all sizes launch and scale subscription offerings. Recharge powers the growth for over 15,000 subscription merchants and their communities, turning one-time transactions into long-term customer relationships. Whether you're a direct-to-consumer business or an omni-channel brand, subscriptions strengthen your brand's relationship with your customers and makes it easy for consumers to make repeat purchases. With subscriptions, merchants are able to experience predictable revenue, increased customer loyalty, and higher average order values. Turn transactions into relationships and experience seamless subscription commerce with Recharge. Get started today with the subscriptions payment solution trusted by over 50 million subscribers worldwide by heading over to rechargepayments.com/uncensored.
And I think, Kev, you bring up a good point about, nowadays with tracking and with retargeting and that sort of things. And yeah, obviously iOS 14 made that a little harder, but with all that stuff going on, it's not just about always that, that first initial sale. Like sometimes you have to warm people up. I mean, especially the people who aren't like the hyper buyers, right? Like there are people that you have to warm up over time. It's funny. We talk about this, people have to see your product 7 times before they buy. And that was actually, I just read it in a book that I'm reading right now by Dan Henry. He talks about how in 13 or something like that, that's where that came from. It's like it came from like from 1913, that they did like a test to see like how many times people had to see your product. And they found that it was like 7. Now, there's an argument to be made that nowadays with all the noise out there, they need to see you even more than 7. And understanding that your list and your audience, they are all in different places of their journey with your brand. So just sending offers is like only talking to one part of your list. Whereas if you can send them information about a problem, they'll keep you in mind when they have that problem again, or when they want to solve that problem or whatever. But the point is like everybody's at different points in their journey. So you have to kind of treat everybody differently. And I don't mean everybody specifically, but each group of people differently, right? Some people are going to buy now. Some people are going to buy in 30 days. Some people are going to buy in 45 days. And having a blog or creating content like that is a really, really good way to, like you said, re-engage people.
It's a good way to engage a cold audience too, because like you said, with all the things going on with social tracking and even targeting on Facebook, it seems like every time I go into Facebook ads, it's always like, we turned off this targeting. You can no longer use this demographic. I think using content to target on Facebook ads is a really strong strategy to build an audience, and a very niche down audience, to like have a blog, run a Facebook ad to a blog, like you said, how to fix a bike in 3 days, or what, 3
seconds.
minutes, 3 seconds. But like you're a bike company, right? So you're you see that click over, you can then gather that information, you gather that person on your pixel if you can, or they subscribe to your email list after clicking through to your blog. You're building a targeted audience just by creating content that is targeted, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing that this does is that, and Klaviyo does this a lot. Like, it's a really easy way to talk about new products or new features. Like Klaviyo sends out a lot of blog posts, and a lot of times it's about like a new feature or a new something. And if you have a product that people are actually using like more than once, sort of like a Klaviyo, which is like a SaaS. But if you have a product like that where people are kind of waiting for new things, it's a really good way to like introduce new features or to introduce a new product, and twist it a little bit. Maybe you don't say like, hey, here's a new product. Maybe you say, something like 2022 summer styles or summer trends. You could do things like that where there's actually, it's not really talking about your product, but it's a trend for, summer 2022. And
Right.
in there, you can have your products.
And people love tips. People love, checklists, 7 ways to do this, 5 tips to do this. People love that. Anytime where you can number a list, I think is really effective too.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on SEO for real quick, because we don't necessarily focus on SEO in our agency. But we know that this strategy does affect your SEO long term. I've realized over time, yes, you can hire a really high end SEO company and spend a lot of money, and they can kind of speed up that process. But just creating content like this on a regular basis at a really good length.
Well, the blog post at a really good length, right?
Yeah, the blog post at a really good length will over time allow you to get more exposure on search engines.
Especially if you hit on something.
Yeah.
Like we hit on something accidentally, right? Remember that one blog that Brianna wrote or whatever?
The
Like
protective styles.
The
thing.
protectors, yeah, it was like an accident. It was like it just blew up. And yeah,
And
so
and the way people are searching, nowadays, those long tail keywords where they're typing in, 7 to 10 words in their search, not like before where they would just type in hair. People aren't doing that anymore. People are really being descriptive in the searches. So when you can focus on some of those long tail keywords, it can be really effective, because there's it's amazing when I look at some of the search traffic on some of these long words. I can't believe that many people are searching, so descriptively. So those 7 to 10 words where there's not that much competition, we can really sneak in to that search engine and gather a lot of traffic from it.
especially if your blog is well written. Like that's the other thing is like, you don't want to just throw up a 2-paragraph piece and think that's like you want to be 1,000 words, 500 words or more. I'm finding like that I used to like hate seeing these long blogs, but I'm finding like the more and more that like I'm writing, the more and more I'm reading, which is interesting because now I'm just in that kind of that world these days. So I like reading something that's in depth that kind of talks about things specifically. And because it allows me to make a decision or an educated decision on whether or not I should buy the product or not. So and that's really all the book is too. Like I'm writing this book. The book is really just like a long blog post.
Right.
Really what it is, So yeah. Anyway, there are lots and lots and lots of reasons why you should have not only just a blog, but a strategy for a blog. And we're seeing a lot of benefits from it.
Yeah. And sitting down and writing a blog can seem like overwhelming, I think. But for you, you using your dictation software, even what is it? Google Doc, you're just doing it in Google Docs and you're just
I'm just in Google Docs using like a microphone. And it's not perfect, but I'm gonna go back and edit it anyway. So it allows me to get what's in my head on paper, which was always like the hardest part for me because I don't type fast enough. So if you're the same way, just dictate the blog into like a Google Doc and it's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't know when you have a period. You have to actually say like when you're texting kind of thing, you have to say like period or comma, which I don't even do. I just talk and then I'm going to go back and then just edit it later. But
yeah, and you could do that whenever. I mean, you could do that while you're driving. You could do that while you're just sitting out in your yard or whatever.
And you would be surprised at how many words you speak in a time frame that you like. I sit down and I literally give one thought and it's like 500 words. I'm like, oh, Really? Like that? Like it would take me like 3 hours to type that up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, we transcribe our podcast on our website, and after they finish doing it, I'm like, wow, that's like really a long blog post.
yeah.
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 So we
So-
repurpose it for that reason. So now we have all this content on our website that can eventually be found on a search engine, and that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah, and it doesn't, one thing with a blog is it's not like running a sale where you're like, okay, 50% off and now you get $5,000 or $10,000. It's not really like that. But over time, it will give you exposure. People will start trusting you more. It may get ranked in Google. So like it's more of a longer term strategy, but we've seen it pay, like I said, dividends if you're consistent with it.
You're great for welcome series too, like content for your welcome series where you're just bringing somebody on for the first time, sharing, you could create that series, that flow that they automatically get a few blog posts every couple days to get them engaged in your business.
Right. Exactly.
All right, cool. Anyway, before we go, text the word email to 844-643-0745. You'll get a text back from us. We'll learn a little bit about your business and we'll see how we can fit in, how we can help you grow your revenue with your email.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
Attention e-commerce founders, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, marketers, and growth hackers. If you're working around the clock to build your dream e-commerce business, you need an e-commerce marketing platform that works just as hard as you do. That means you need Klaviyo. With Klaviyo, you'll delight customers and drive revenue at the same time. With personalized email and SMS marketing campaigns, you can design and send in minutes. For more, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. The subscription market is predicted to grow to nearly $500 billion in 2025. Recharge is the leading subscription management solution helping e-commerce merchants of all sizes launch and scale their subscription offerings. Over 15,000 merchants use subscriptions powered by Recharge to grow their businesses and their communities by increasing average order value, reducing churn, and providing predictable, recurring revenue. Turn transactions into long-term customer relationships and experience seamless subscription commerce with Recharge. Check them out at rechargepayments.com/uncensored.